I don't like it any more than you do, but I'm doing a job. I'll be right back. Hey, sir, I was nice to you. I asked you to leave. You gave me a hard time, so now you're getting a ticket. $292.50. You can pay it at any service New Brunswick, or you can pay it online. There's your ticket. Leave the parking lot now, sir, or else you get another one. Next one goes up to $1,000.
Really?
Yes. You can get up to $10,000.
How many have you given out today?
You're the first.
Well, I feel so good about
You're lucky.
that.
You're the first. You're the first to ask for one back.
Thank you very much.
It doesn't make any sense. And I thought it was funny because Constable John Thompson then says, well, you can contest it. Guess what, John? We are. Careful what you wish for.
But I predicted just on the written text of one that came in from a Mr. Matheson in New Brunswick that Sheila's piece that she had published on the weekend was going to be the most egregious of all. And judging by the view count, the people agree. Folks, this is unbelievable. I'm going to shut up. I think Mr. Producer has some video he's going to run. Just will you see what happened to Mr. Matheson at a Tim Hortons parking lot in New Brunswick.
Tim Hortons has asked me to move people from the parking lot here.
Really?
Okay? I know you're by yourself and all that, but what it does is it's letting the teens see what happens, and then they all start hanging out here later on.
No, I don't
Tim
believe
Hortons,
that.
Pardon me?
I don't believe that.
You don't believe the teens will do that?
That's their opinion.
No, that's true, but they have asked, and it is up to them to do it.
This country is still a free country.
Okay, if you don't move, I'm going to give you a $292 ticket.
Is that right?
Yes.
For doing what?
For not moving in compliance to what I'm saying. I'm trying to be nice to you. License, please. License, please.
No, I'll leave.
Then leave now.
Okay.
I was nice to you. I gave you a chance. Get out. If I catch you back here, it will be a $292 ticket.
What's your name, sir?
Constable John Thompson.
Okay, thank you, John.
Okay? I would still like to see your driver's license, though.
Well, I'm okay.
No, I would like to see it, sir. Stop right there. I don't like it any more than you do, but I'm doing a job. I'll be right back. Hey, sir, I was nice to you. I asked you to leave. You gave me a hard time, so now you're getting a ticket under the failure to comply with the directions of the Emergency Measures Act. Yes, you did, sir. Okay? You didn't want to leave. Don't try arguing now. If you want to take it up with someone, you can take it up with the sergeant at the office. I'm not dealing with $292.50. You can pay it at any service New Brunswick, or you can pay it online. There's your ticket. Leave the parking lot now, sir, or else you get another one. Next one goes up to $1,000.
Really?
Yes. You can get up to $10,000.
How many have you given out today?
You're the first.
Well, I feel so good about
You're
that.
lucky. You're the first. You're the first to ask for one back.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you know, Sheila, I was just taking notes of the discourse that we just all watched. And as far as I'm concerned, the officer asked Mr. Matheson to comply to his order. Mr. Matheson starts to comply. Then the officer stops him from complying and then gives him a ticket for failure to comply. Then uses profanity, which is completely unprofessional for anyone wearing a badge. Sheila, this is staggering. What you interviewed Mr. Matheson personally. What's your view on this?
It's crazy because when I was talking to Bill, he said, I didn't know that I couldn't park there because there aren't signs telling me that I can't park there. Furthermore, he's eating and he doesn't want to eat and drive. So we thought, well, I'll just get my muffin and my coffee. I'll quickly finish it and then carry on. That's the safer thing to do. And then the cop shows up and you can tell the interaction with the cop is pretty friendly.
Yes.
Until Bill says, this is still a free country. And then Officer John Thompson gets right off the rev limiter. He tells him to leave, tells him to go. So Bill tries to comply. Then he stops Bill, takes his driver's license, comes back and gives him a ticket. It doesn't make any sense. And I thought it was funny because Constable John Thompson then says, well, you can contest it. Guess what, John? We are. Careful what you wish for, because
and you know
we are.
Something, Sheila, you raise an interesting point. When the conversation begins, full disclosure, when I'm listening to Constable Thompson, he sounds exactly like the kind of cop I want to deal with. He's jovial. Good morning. You can tell by the tone of his voice. And then like a Lamborghini going 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, he goes from jovial to just just so angry, inconceivably angry. What was driving that, do you think, Sheila?
I think that the cop just didn't like the pushback from Bill. And it wasn't even pushback. Bill was complying. Bill wasn't rude. He wasn't anything. He was completely willing to do and going to do and trying to do what the cop told him to do. Problem is, Bill questioned authority a little bit. And that cop didn't like that at all. And you can tell, he's calling Bill names and Bill's just sort of taking it. And, to Bill's credit, he's a citizen journalist. And I was really impressed with the fact that when he saw a cop walking up to him, he quickly started rolling audio, which is something that I think a lot of journalists might be caught flat-footed to do.
Great point, Sheila. And I'm telling you, everybody, have a recording device, even if you're walking to the community mailbox, because we live in a day and age, Sheila, that if there's no video, it did not happen. It's he said, she said, end of story. But this was not Mr. Matheson not complying. This was the police officer himself preventing Mr. Matheson from complying. It was a screw job from start to finish.
The biggest danger encountered that day was a spitting mad police officer. Bill says there are no signs up at the Tim Hortons, or there weren't at the time, I don't know if there are now, saying that he couldn't park there and finish his food. He's not sure if somebody from Tim Hortons called the cops, or if, it's a Tim Hortons. If you're looking for cops, go there. If the cops were already on scene. But nobody ever told him to leave until the cop showed up, banged on his window, and, the rest, I suppose, as they say, is history.
Geez, maybe that was Mr. Matheson's sin. He bought the last fruit explosion muffin, denying Constable Thomas his nutrition.
That's an excerpt from a daily live stream show that I do every day at 12 noon Eastern Time. I talk about the stories of the day, play some fun videos, and most importantly, I take your questions and comments in what YouTube calls a super chat. If you like that, please tune in live. It's way more fun that way. You can join the conversation. And every day at 8 p.m., I have a special produced show with a whole monologue, and I interview guests, and I read my fan mail and my hate mail. You can learn more about both my daily live show and the nightly premium show at rebelnews.com.